It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Jane Pauley.
You may not know the name, but Marc Shaiman has written songs for some of the most popular shows and movies, like Hairspray, to name just one. With Tracy Smith, we meet the man behind the music.
There's a line from an old movie that says, "No man is a failure who has friends."
We do have mics here for anyone who'd like to get on a mic.
And by that reasoning, meet the most successful man in town, Marc Shaiman, legendary composer, Tony, Grammy, and Emmy winner, and a guy with friends who'd brave a New York snowstorm to see him. Nathan Lane.
He's just a very, very dear friend of many years.
Matthew Broderick.
Just a very clever guy to know.
Steve Martin.
Been on vacation with him, I've hung out with him, he's written songs that I've done, and he's just a great, great guy.
Now you could knock me over with a fella to show the lady that I love is me.
This event, held a few weeks ago at the legendary New York restaurant Sardi's, was a book party for Shaiman's new memoir, Never Mind the Happy. And with close to 50 years in the business, he's had a few things to be happy about. For starters, Marc Shaiman has scored some of the best-loved films of a generation and scored 7 Oscar nominations along the way. One of them for the music from the movie version of South Park. He was the young news theme writer from the 1987 film Broadcast News. That's him on the right. He wrote the music for the hit musical Hairspray and won a Tony, along with his writing partner and former life partner, Scott Whitman.
Then I found my way, 'cause you can't stop the beat.
And back at Sardi's, it seems everyone in the room had a favorite Marc Shaiman song. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I loved Marc before I ever knew him because I was the species of theater kid that memorized Billy Crystal's musical montages on the Oscars. And many years later, I learned that Marc wrote those with Billy. It's a wonderful night for Oscar.
Oscar, Oscar, who will win, who will win?
It's the Oscars, so kick off your shoes.
As the creator of some of the most memorable music on stage and screen, it's no surprise that Marc Shaiman is most at home behind a piano.
I love a piano. I love that we have a piano here. It's truly part of my body and heart and soul. It really is. Always has been.
Do you feel differently sitting at the piano than you do in other parts of your life?
I feel at home here. Yeah, and on stage. I'm a ham. I feel more at home on stage than really anywhere.
Seems he's always felt that way. Born 66 years ago in New Jersey, Marc Shaiman was a piano prodigy who left home at 16, bound for the big city.
And my mother said that people were telling her, "What do you mean you're letting him move to New York?" But she said, "What am I going to do, chain him to the piano?"
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
After a few years playing in New York clubs, he became the music director for one of his idols, the legendary Bette Midler. Before getting a job at Saturday Night Live.
I got to co-create the Sweeney Sisters, which were 2 lounge singing girls who did long medleys. Talk about cheesy show business.
That's him on the piano. He also met people there who'd become lifelong friends, like Martin Short and Billy Crystal.
That was what Saturday Night Live gave me, those friendships. And then Billy Crystal is the one who introduced me to Rob Reiner.
What was it like working with Rob Reiner?
Working with Rob was just the greatest. Billy asked him on When Harry Met Sally, "What are you thinking about for the music?" And Rob said, "I need a guy who knows every song in the American Songbook." And Billy mentioned that he said, "Have I got a guy for you?"
What if they don't want to have sex with you?
Doesn't matter, because the sex thing is already out there, so the friendship is ultimately doomed, and that is the end of the story.
The finished film was a hit, in part because of Shaiman's musical arrangements. And Rob Reiner asked Shaiman to score his next project, the 1990 thriller Misery, even though that was uncharted territory for Shaiman.
I guess it was kind of a miracle you finding me.
No, it wasn't a miracle at all. In a way, I was following you.
Even my own agent said, Rob, what makes you think Mark can do this? And Rob said, Richard, talent is talent. I had to live up to his faith in me.
Marc Shaiman went on to score more than a dozen of Rob Reiner's films, a golden Hollywood winning streak that might have continued until the unthinkable happened in December, when Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were murdered in their home.
Can you even describe getting that phone call?
Yeah, it was Billy Crystal who texted me, call me. And I could just sense for the two words, something's not right. And I called him and he told me what had happened, and I was in shock, and I'm really still in shock. I could play you something, if might I play you from the American President?
This is one of the scores Marc Shaiman is most proud of for 1995's The American President. Rob Reiner made a film that was poignant and inspiring, and Shaiman's music captures not only the spirit of the film, but of the dear friend who made it.
You can just take a minute.
I just can't believe it.
Shaiman says it's been a rough couple of months, but he's working through it. He calls himself a cynic, but he has an equally clear sense of just how lucky he's been.
If tears were only calories, just think how thin I'd be. If suffering was a sailboat, you would find me out to sea.
You know, the book's called Never Mind the Happy. What does make you happy now?
There's a lot to be happy about. It's the way people kept saying, Mark, don't give up. And it's true. And I've just had this endless amount of dreams coming true. I am proof that if you just keep showing up, keep saying yes, that everything you could have ever dreamt of can happen.